The Euro and the World Cups are not in the same bracket. The Euros is below the World Cup, just like the Copa America is below the World Cup, because the World Cup is the pinnacle of international football. So trying to say that they're in the same dimension is you trying to cope with the fact that you are never going to win a World Cup.
Yeah,
Because I don't care what anybody says, he's not going to be at the 2030 World Cup. If he's at the 2030 World Cup, Portugal have that loser mentality. So Mbappe, don't retract your statement. Keep pressing forward. Keep doing what you're doing, because the way you are handling these
it's
situations
perfect.
is pissing them off, because they are used to getting the angry black man response and they're
Yeah.
not getting it from you. So you keep pushing and you keep reacting the way that you are. So to show them that they can't win, they can't rattle you, and they are the ones that are rattled. And I hope that justice is served. Who do you
Who's
think
gonna
is
win?
getting to the final? So in one bracket, you've got France and Morocco, Spain and Belgium. So that's one side. And the other side, you've got Norway and England, Argentina and Switzerland. Who do you believe is getting to the World Cup final out of
I
those
don't.
eight teams?
I don't even want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. France just versus England, bro. I don't know why I think that. I don't.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Yes, people, another edition of Nights of the Roundtable Discussions, where we discuss all sports all the time. Got my guy ST in the building. How are you doing, sir?
Well, a little bit under the weather, but however, we decided to get this back on the road. We've had a little sabbatical. Life be life, as TJ would say. But you know what? What can we say? We're back.
It's not even life be life in, bro. Every day there's been a football game.
Oh
It's
yeah, of
like
course.
it's like trying to pencil in, like all, like even these, like obviously full-time YouTubers, bro. Like they're not posting every day, because
No.
literally the football is just back to back to back. So it's, and because of the different times and whatnot, it's crazy, bro. So people, listen, we do apologize that we've been on a hiatus, but it's not because like we didn't want to put up something. It's just that there's been so much going on in the World Cup. There's been game after game after game that we just
Yeah.
haven't had the time. And this is the first time that there's been a break in the World Cup. So we said we had to get back on, and obviously we're going to be getting into the World Cup, discussing everything that's transpired so far, obviously from the start to this midway point, and then into the future when the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and final commence. But as usual, before we start, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up. As I say all the time, share, share, share. We are here. And don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. So as we said, ST, last pod we put up was obviously a preview to the World Cup, and obviously
Yeah.
it has gone ahead. Obviously, we're at the stage now where the last 16 have finally finished. We're going into the quarterfinals, so 8 teams left for this prestigious trophy. Um, ST, obviously, as you know, it's the biggest World Cup we've ever had. The most games, the most teams, 48 teams in this World Cup. It hasn't been without its controversies, and obviously, we will get into what has been going on off the field. But just give us a little summary of how you felt that this World Cup has been on the field. Like, have you enjoyed it? Have you not enjoyed it? Do you think that the having 48 teams has benefited the World Cup, or are you in the camp of we should have still stuck to it being 32 teams? And what's your overall feeling about how the World Cup has been from a footballing perspective?
You know what? It's been a bit of both. So I do think, personally, to start, I think there have been some very good games, some fun games to watch, which we're going to go through, especially in the group stages. Some of the football has been good. Um, so, it's been some games have been very good. Some games have done unexpected surprises, but however, I do think the quality of football hasn't been as good consistently. If I'm honest, I do think as well, personally, I think there are too many teams.
Fair.
I do think that, you know what, I'm happy that 48 teams and a lot more from an African point of view, a lot more African
Mm,
teams are in.
mm,
But even then, maximum 32, even 36, if you at a push.
mm,
I think 48 is a lot. It's a lot of football.
mm.
And again, a lot of third, fourth place playoffs going, third to fourth people going through. It's not the best in the sense like that. I think the football has started getting better
Mm.
from the last 32, last 16. But overall, you know what, it's been spectacle. There have been some very good elements of it in terms of
Mm.
some unknown teams that have done well. Like Cabo Verde have
Mhm,
done very
mhm.
well. Um, I think Switzerland have been very consistent.
To be fair to Switzerland, they have over the past few years they have been fairly
Yes,
consistent in
but they've
terms of
done really
making
well.
like last 16 quarterfinals. I give that to them. So them obviously being where they are is not a surprise to me. Even though
Obviously,
I expected Colombia to win, but
yeah,
them getting through to the last eight isn't a surprise to me. But Cape Verde, because you said obviously 48 teams is too much. I do agree with you. I
yeah,
think it's too many teams. However,
yes,
without the 48 teams, we wouldn't have gotten Cape Verde getting to the round of 32 and
yes,
pushing Argentina all the way. We wouldn't have gotten DR Congo getting to the round of 32 against England and pushing them all the way. We wouldn't have seen Curacao playing
and
Uruguay
then,
and getting a point.
yeah, Ghana
So
versus England point, all that sort of stuff.
yeah, so I do agree with you in terms of 48 is too much, but and I do think they should reduce it. I know they won't because of all the money involved,
Yeah,
but I will say there has been little gems that
yes,
has come out of the expansion of the World Cup, and obviously the two goalkeepers for Curacao and Cape Verde have been draped in honor because of obviously what they've achieved. So it's allowed smaller nations to put themselves on the map to show what they have, and to a certain extent show that they can compete with the big
yeah.
boys.
Yeah, I was also going to say on touching of the keepers, the unknown keepers, I think the keepers have done pretty well this tournament. I'm going to give them
Mm.
credit. Like, you know me on certain things about keepers. I'm not going to go into that too deep, but those particular people have done very well. For example, Ghana's goalkeepers, both of them have been very good this tournament. The Ivorian keeper was very good this team. The
Yeah.
Japanese keeper was very good this tournament.
Mm.
Magnon, apart from one mistake, has been very good this tournament. All these guys, Virginia is the guy that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Curacao keeper has been very good. A lot of a lot of good defenders that we found out as well. So we've got it's more about discovering new players
Yeah,
and
and new
actually players
talent.
that
Yeah,
new
yeah.
talent as well.
And people will say, ST, look, at the end of the day, what's the point of this? They're not gonna do anything, blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah, this, that, and the other. And to a certain extent, I get it because, but
yeah,
the fact of the matter is, here's what I pose to people, ST. How are these nations ever? How are these nations ever gonna get better if they're not allowed to compete on the biggest stage?
no, correct.
They're
No, you're
not
right.
going to they're not going to improve, they're not going to get better, because what you need to understand, ST, is that, and this is why I say to a certain extent the 48 teams helps, because when you see that you have a nation that can qualify for the World Cup, the players that are there are more likely to play for those countries and
Yeah,
not then go over to the European nations,
yeah, yeah,
right, that colonize them,
yeah,
or where they ended up and play for them. So Cape Verde, they're going to see like, whoa, we can make the World Cup. Whoa, we can make a difference. All right, I'm going to
yeah,
play for Cape Verde. Oh, same thing with Curacao. Oh, raw. Like, we got through
yeah,
and qualified on the World
yeah,
Cup. I'm going to play for Curacao. So all these smaller nations, instead of their players going and playing for the European nations, they're going to stay. And what does that do? It helps the development. It
yeah,
helps them to be able to try and compete at the highest level, and in turn allows their nations to get on the map as well.
yeah,
We
yeah,
take
exactly.
the African nations and the amount of players that have decided, look at Congo, bro. Like 10 years ago, you wouldn't have been saying Congo could have made it to the World Cup. But players are playing for them. And I think the African nations are the blueprint for all of this. The Senegalese, the Senegalese and Moroccans no longer going and playing for France. They're now playing for Senegal, now playing for Morocco instead of going to play for the likes of France and Belgium. So, I mean, I think in one sense, 32 teams is still what we want, but on the other hand, I like the fact that the exposure that the smaller nations are getting this World Cup. Sorry, bro, I'll cut you off.
No, it's all right. Like, like you can add probably another 4 more teams or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I think if we do it, obviously we're not going to do the mental maths here, people. So we're just saying like 36. We'll see if it can work out. If it can work out, obviously the maths boffins in this can work out if we can do 36 or if it needs to be to 40 or whatever, blah blah. But a little bit more is not too bad. But then it's like where do you go from here? And final point before we move on, ST.
Yeah,
I said Cape Verde from Africa, Curacao from CONCACAF, right?
Yeah.
Remember what the Tuso said about African countries getting too many spots, and what happened in the group stages? What was it? 9 African teams qualified out of the group stages. If my maths is right, was it 9 or 10?
Everybody but Tunisia qualified.
There you go. There you go. So this is my point, ST, about the exposure and having this, because this is what these bigger nations like to do. They like to diminish, and they might to little man, especially obviously when it comes, because he wasn't saying this about Asia. He wasn't saying this about the Oceanic. He wasn't saying this about South America or to a certain extent Central America, because Central America includes USA, Mexico, and all that. But yeah, you wanna do that because it's the black nations. Yeah, go fuck yourself, right? Because look at what they did in terms of qualifying out of the group stage. Yeah, okay, we get it. Morocco's gotten the furthest, but look at what has happened because they had that amount. So we got a variety. It wasn't just obviously it wasn't just South America. And did anyone qualify from Asia? Australia. I think Australia were the only one. Australia were the only one. Oh no, Japan as well.
Australia and Japan, yeah.
Yeah. So, but like
even then, bro, like this is coming from a man, whose country hasn't qualified for the past 3 World Cups.
Exactly. So there you go.
So they're supposed to be a big nation,
a massive nation. But yeah, because but at the end of the day, this is how it is. Like maybe you should concentrate on your nation actually finding a way to qualify.
Exactly.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you could talk about these African nations, who they play and blah blah blah. When you're playing San Marino, when you're playing Luxembourg, and all these other lesser nations, you're not complaining, innit? Try and qualify against these lot before you start talking about everybody else. But anyway, that's all the airtime that they're gonna get. But yeah, ST. So obviously, World Cup. We said it. 9 African nations qualified. The usual suspects all qualified, but we did have upsets. Did have upsets. Nothing bigger than Uruguay going out in the group stages.
I'm so happy about that.
And obviously, you and I, representing the melanin people within society, we're absolutely delighted because we know what those Uruguayans are on. Yeah? And their disgusting behavior. Who was it against that last game?
So Spain, Cape Verde. Who's the other guy in that group? God, I forgot. What's new?
Look, I've got it up here. Don't worry about that. Who was the other? Oh, Spain, Cape Verde, and Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Was it? Who did they play last?
I think it was
Saudi Arabia, where they drew, but the disgusting behavior from their team, where my man got sent off.
But this is what they always do. Every time after they lose, if you notice about the Uruguayans, they'll always start fighting the referee, start fighting the other team. So they
drew with Saudi Arabia, drew with Cape Verde, and then lost to Spain 1-0. Yeah.
And then they were having arguments. Well, Bielsa had his issues with saying that his team are not paying for him and stuff like that. All these issues, but Uruguay have always been like this. Like whenever things don't go their way, there's always fights at the end of the day. That's how they react to things. They're not honestly not very good people at all. Like they don't really respect anybody. They always have a chip on their shoulder, especially when they're the ones causing the issues. And we're gonna go to another country who's next to them that always thinks that they have a chip on their shoulder. But I digress. But yeah, that's what Uruguay have been doing. And obviously, as well, you need to understand Uruguay have lost a lot of their stars as well. So Suarez,
Yeah, Suarez, Cavani,
Cavani, Forlan's retired.
Forlan's
Is
retired.
retired. Valverde is not the same.
Yeah,
Um,
and he can't do it
uh,
on his own, brother.
and you got Darwin Nunes,
The
man.
Uruguayan and
Yeah,
he was
yeah, yeah,
coming down my man, which is why you know that
yeah,
my man lost his head. If you got the Uruguayan
yeah, exactly.
um, calming you down, but that was a major casualty. And this is the thing, ST, is that even though you had so many that could qualify, Uruguay was a major casualty.
Yeah,
Scotland, another major casualty if we're talking about the home nations.
yeah.
Unfortunately, they just didn't do enough. They
No,
just
no,
didn't
no,
do
no.
enough. They got lucky. They got lucky with the 1-0 against Haiti. Obviously, Morocco dealt with them, and then they got put in a spliff against and
Sorry,
Brazil.
bro. I'll be right back. I'll be back 1 second. I'll be quick. I need to go
No
to the
worries,
washroom.
no worries, no worries, bro. So Scotland, another team that didn't qualify for the round of 32, who would have been very disappointed. Another country who always has massive expectations but never seems to get through is Turkey. Turkey with all the talent, all the talent, their superstar Yildiz and all these guys, and they're another one. They seem to always seem to qualify for the major competitions, but can never make an impact, especially in the World Cup. So I think those were the three major casualties from this World Cup in terms of going out in the group stage. And shout out to man like two for Iran as well. The who I felt for. I really did feel for Iran because the nonsense that they had to uphold
Yes.
within the US. And when we're talking about politics in sport, there is no bigger representation of that than how the Iranian team were treated,
Yeah.
right? Not allowed in the US unless it was for a game, right? Having to train in Mexico and travel. And instead of moving their games to Mexico, they said no. And then having to
Yeah.
travel to the US like 10 hours before the game,
And
going
then
through
go straight out.
customs, disgusting stop and search
Yeah.
every single time,
Yeah.
right? Then having to play the game, then only having a couple hours and then having to leave the country to then
Yeah.
go back to Mexico. And this is the problem that I have with FIFA ST. Oh no, we're not getting involved.
Yeah.
Politics doesn't belong in football is the biggest lie ever because
Okay,
we've
we're gonna give
seen
it one
many a
second.
time how much politics is involved in football, especially when we're talking about certain agendas that people are running. Yeah.
And to cover you up on that point as well, you mentioned Iran, and we're happy with the way Iran performed, irrespective of the issues that they have. So big up Tooth as well. I know it's
Mm.
frustrating that he didn't get through, but it's unlucky. There's always another chance. Just to piggyback off that, we then have a president then influencing a decision
We'll
about
get
some.
there. We'll
Oh,
get
sorry,
there.
sorry, sorry,
We'll
sorry, sorry,
get
sorry.
there. We'll get there.
Sorry, I
As I
thought.
said, politics
Apologies.
involved. We will get
Okay,
there. I had a feeling you will get there, but we will get there.
okay,
I'm trying to
okay, okay,
do it
okay,
step by step, but we will
okay.
get there. But
I would
yeah.
say there's been political influence throughout the whole,
Oh yeah.
and like I said, I'm gonna say this as well. Point obviously is gonna go back, but if this was in certain melanated countries, we'd call it corruption. We'd call it Bush.
Bro, tell it how it is. If this was in Africa,
Yeah,
if this was
yeah.
AFCON, the uproar that would be going on right now would be
They'd be laughing at us.
insane
Yeah,
with what we've seen in this World Cup.
yeah,
Um, but I want to say to the Iranian players, you represented yourselves and your
Yeah.
country well. It was unfortunate, especially in that Egypt game, that last game. Oh, the heartbreak.
3-3. Yeah.
Oh,
And then
the
the 3-3 with
heartbreak.
was it Algeria and
Yeah,
Austria?
Algeria and
Oh,
Austria, the
yeah.
heartbreak, man. But listen, you represented your country and yourselves well,
Sort yourselves
and
out,
it
man.
was this disgusting treatment that shouldn't have happened. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we've got a FIFA president that is bending over for the US president. So what can we do? But so then ST we get to obviously the round of 32, and as you said, there have been some good games, and there were very good games in the round of 32, none more so than the Belgium Senegal game. And
Ah,
this
God,
is
don't even
the
remind me of
round
that.
of 32 is where our African nations let us down.
It disgraced us.
Um,
I'll be honest.
Senegal 2-0 up, cruising,
Easy.
cruising because this Belgian team is dog shy,
They're rubbish, bro.
right?
Rubbish.
And they threw it away. Lukaku came on, made it 2-1. And then was it Tielemans that made it 2-2? I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. Um, oh, someone made it 2-2. I can't remember who made it 2-2. Someone made it 2-2, went into extra time, and then they got a penalty and then they won the game. But Senegal let us down because Senegal were in the driving seat, only had 10 more minutes and they would have been into the round of 16, and they couldn't do it. And that it had a domino effect because we should have beat Norway.
Yeah, you should have.
We should have beat Norway,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, two moments that Norway had, two moments, two goals,
Yeah.
right? And we just didn't defend the way that we should have done at Ivory Coast. So, and it was so disappointing. And then you lot against
We didn't even
Colombia.
try. We didn't honestly, we didn't even try. I like at least with Senegal, Ivory Coast, and we're gonna get into the other matches with the other teams as well, yeah. Game management was appalling. With Ghana, we didn't even try. Like Colombia, I knew because Colombia had the pace, but also had the tenacity to deal with the African sides.
Mm,
Quality as well. And I was saying this as well. If Colombia didn't finish their chances, they would have beaten us like 3-4-0 easily. And Ghana, in terms of the African countries, it's not even more about game management. We as a nation are very risk adverse. We don't like to take risks, which is not good. You're never going to win that way if you just try and stink out the place.
mm.
We didn't try and play against Colombia, and Colombia were fully deserved. So that's something that we need to improve on. So it's not really much to say. Like Ghana, we don't score enough goals. The curse, I hope, will finally retire. But anyway, but yeah, that's all I really have to say in Ghana. But I know we're gonna go to all the other African nations that have lost and everything. But one
Well,
thing,
South Africa losing to Canada was expected.
yeah,
Um,
Egypt got through against.
Egypt obviously got through.
Got through
Algeria
against
lost to Switzerland, which again wasn't
that
a
annoyed me.
surprise. Cape Verde, as we said, put up a massive fight, taking Argentina
Against
to extra
Argentina.
time.
See, but that's different.
Mm-mm-mm.
I can respect that because Cape Verde, even though they are considered one of the smaller nations, they weren't afraid of Argentina. They
Mm.
matched them for actual technique and for actual game management and stuff like that. It wasn't game management in that sense. Argentina just had some better players. That
Bro, but that second goal, we
oh
got to
bro,
talk about that second goal,
bro,
blood.
bro,
Listen,
bro.
man said, I don't care if Lionel is on this pitch, bro.
Yeah,
I am getting the goal of the tournament.
I couldn't believe it.
Slapped it top bins.
It was
Bins.
late as well. We were
You could
watching.
have had three Emmy Martinez in that goal. He weren't saving that, bro.
Bro, did you see McAllister's reaction? He's like this. He's had his head on his shoulders, like what? I
Crazy.
I was watching it I was watching it at night as well.
Mm,
Obviously, we live in the UK, so
yeah.
this was quite difficult for us to watch in the night. I'm in the night. I saw the strike. I start screaming. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was in shock. I was like, no way you can score a goal like this. And then obviously the celebration was a bit crazy. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah, bro. Listen, when
But
you
fair
score a
enough.
goal like that, being the
Fair enough.
small nation that you are, and this is what I'm saying, ST, reverting back to what I said about the
Yeah.
expansion. These are the little moments that were
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
Like seeing these sort of moments. I know they lost in the end, but these little moments were worth it. So shout out to Cape Verde, and obviously Morocco beating Holland wasn't a surprise.
It wasn't
I'm
a
being
surprise
honest,
because
it wasn't a surprise. That's why I said Morocco when we were doing our dark horses in the preview. I'm like Morocco, even dark horses. Like there's no surprise that Morocco beat Holland, and Holland again have good players, but they just couldn't get it together. And listen, obviously, massive, massive respect to Cody Gakpo
yes.
for playing the game and scoring after what had happened with him and his missus.
Yes.
Because that's the most. Listen,
That's not that's
I would have
yeah.
100% expected him not to be there, but he
Yeah.
played, he
And he
scored,
scored.
but unfortunately couldn't get through. But massive respect to him. Obviously, I know
Yeah.
in terms of club football, that's one of our rivals. But listen, human beings are human beings, man, and massive,
Condolences to him, yeah.
massive respect to him.
Yeah.
But there was a massive upset in the round of 32 ST, and it was this team lost to a team that we're going to talk about properly in a little bit. But Germany, the Germans going
Ooh, yeah.
out in the round of 32, 1-1 after added time, extra time, sorry, and then losing 4-3 in penalties. Now, I know the Germans will be upset because they had, as far as I'm concerned, a legitimate goal disallowed.
Yeah.
It wasn't a foul on the goalkeeper.
Wasn't.
It was a legitimate goal disallowed. But even still, they should have still beaten this Paraguay
Yeah.
team. And this is why everybody had reservations about Germany, because you go and beat Curacao 7-1, you beat Ivory Coast
You were lucky
2-1.
to be Ivory Coast.
Yeah,
Let's be
because
honest.
we should have won
Yeah.
that. If it wasn't for Frank Kessie, we would have won. And then obviously it was the last game. They lost their last
They
game.
lost to Ecuador.
Yeah, lost to Ecuador, which allowed
2-1.
Ecuador to qualify in the third place. So them losing to Paraguay wasn't a shock to anybody. Even though it
Yeah.
was a shock, it wasn't a shock because everybody had their question marks about this German side, and German football needs to take a long, hard look at itself. I think it was Tony Cruz that said that they don't have a one world class player in that German side. They got very good, and I agree with him. They got very good players, very good talent. Musiala, Wirtz, obviously Pavlovic, all these guys, but they
They're
haven't.
nothing special.
They're
Yeah.
nothing. They're just very, very good players. They haven't got that star quality. And German football just looks like it needs a complete reset in terms of international football because nobody is really. We remember German, bro. It doesn't matter, bro. It didn't matter if Germany were losing 16-0 to San Marino. As soon as tournament football comes,
They were
bro, you know they're going
yeah.
to be there or thereabouts. But since winning that World Cup in 2014,
14, yeah.
yeah, it looks like they've just gone backwards.
Yeah.
And that isn't a good sign because you need Germany being a powerhouse in football, irrespective of obviously people laughing at their demise. But yeah, that was the big upset in the round of 32. So if we now, ST, get to the round of 16 games, and look, let's go through the easy stuff. Morocco beating Canada 3-0. We understand. All
And
right, cool.
yeah.
That was
Also,
one of that.
before I go as well, yeah. So I forgot to even say this is yeah. Just to lastly touch on the African teams too. Like, and I think shout out to Adika Takes. He talks
Mm,
about the mentality of African
yes,
football.
yes.
And I want to make a quick comment.
Mm.
All the African teams that I've gone through that had leads,
I
I'm
think you need to be
sorry,
specific. I think more so the West African.
the West African. But even we're gonna go into Egypt as well after it.
Mm,
But all of us, yeah, the West African especially, yeah, I have no sympathy for you. I'm gonna be
no.
very honest, none. Sometimes as people, yes, we know there's corruption. Yes, we're aware that some decisions are great, but when you're up a lead 2-0,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't choose the defender, you don't defend properly, that's on you. Instead of you looking to go win the match, like for example, I'm going to give Morocco credit. They see themselves as a big side. They play
Yep.
as a big side,
Yep.
especially the West Africans. Senegal, with your talent, that's how you.
Senegal. This is mainly directed at Senegal
Yeah,
because they've got the same talent as Morocco have.
Morocco. They do. They do. They have no excuse.
No excuse. And Senegal's the biggest. Ghana for different reasons because you didn't try at all.
Yes,
So I think with us, Ivory Coast, we tried,
but you
but
don't have the
again,
talent.
but
The talent.
again, moments,
Yeah,
concentration.
yeah,
Like we need to get out of this mentality of we are the victims or we are the
yes,
underdogs and put out your chest. Morocco have gotten over that, right?
yeah,
Ivory Coast, we just came. I know it was a friendly, but we just came off beating France in a
mm,
friendly, and it wasn't like
yeah.
France were playing their reserves.
They're playing their
that
players.
that, that should have given you the confidence to know that you can compete against the big
Yeah,
boys. But the two
yeah,
big games that we lost when we came was at Germany, inferiority complex. Even though I know Frankesi missed sitters, and then against Norway, moments
no,
that Norway weren't good. That
no,
Norway team that played against us isn't the same Norway team that played against Brazil,
no, it isn't.
right? So we should have won that. South Africa just got battered. No,
I
again,
just thought I'd say that as well because he makes a very good point. Um, West Africans especially, we always look at the
yeah.
and it sounds crazy, and I'm going to say this: it's a colonial thing in their head.
Yeah, it's the
I do want to bring
imposter
this up.
syndrome.
It's really like we still think that they're our leaders, they're superior to us.
Yeah,
At the same time, we need to go away from this and think that we can beat these teams because technically we do have the players. We do in the continent have the players to complete. It's about training. It's about being good,
exactly.
but we're just not doing that. And I just
It,
thought like I've mentioned it because Morocco, fair enough to them, yeah.
mm,
We all have our gripes with what Morocco did in the AFCON and everything, but they think of themselves as a big team, and I truly respect that.
no, 100%, and that's why they're in the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
said kicked out Canada. Um, obviously, last night we had Switzerland, Colombia, 0-0, went to pens, and Switzerland winning 4-3 on penalties. Now, ST. The other one, two, three, four, five, 6 games were absolute drama for different reasons.
yeah,
So we're gonna start with the biggest game of them all, which possibly you could say was one of the most boring games of them all. Portugal, Spain,
yeah. Awful.
right? And I've seen everybody say multiple things about this game. And I think what there needs to be a level of understanding is ST is that was a game where Spain passed us to death
Yes,
and Portugal did nothing.
yes.
So it was just like, bruh, like what we doing here? And obviously, I know Mikel Marino came with a little bit of stardust and made it 1-0. But more importantly, ST, let's start off with Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, we
Yeah,
understand that this was the last dance for him in terms of the World Cup,
yeah.
right? Um, and I don't care what anybody says, he wanted this more than anything else. And
Of
we
course he.
understand why, because he wanted to listen, his greatness is already certified, but
Yeah,
he wanted to be at the table with Messi, with Maradona, with Pele,
yeah.
with Zidane, right? Because
With
of
all nine of them, man. Yeah, yeah,
with what these men have achieved. And look, when it's all said and done, once he does, because obviously he's not retired from any form of football. When it's all said and done, he will be in these conversations, like as we know. But this was the World Cup,
yeah,
and the first thing I want to say is that there's even though there are times where one player can carry a nation on
yeah.
his back, there is no iron team. So this is
No.
not on Cristiano himself.
Yeah,
However, he doesn't help himself by making it about himself.
Yeah, exactly.
right? And him making it about himself has kept another man out of the spotlight who we will talk about in a second. But when we look at Cristiano in World Cup, I'm just like, people really need to understand how poor this man's record is in World Cups. This
Yeah.
guy, right, has scored 11 goals in 6 World Cups, which is good. Like,
Yeah.
there's no disputing that. Problem is, only one of them has been in the knockout stages. Do you know when
Yeah.
that goal was?
It was the other day with the
Yeah,
penalty.
it was the other day against
Yeah,
Croatia. The
sure,
penalty. That's the first knockout game he scored in
yeah.
all 6 World Cups. Now, if you're considering yourself to be one of the GOATs or the GOAT, if you're because he is one of the GOATs, but if you want to consider yourself the GOAT, that record is abysmal for anybody.
Listen, Azerbaijan and Amadello have scored more goals in
bro, crazy. And my whole thing is that
Sorry, bro, keep
this
going.
man, this man had, huh?
No, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, this man has been at the World Cup with the likes of Figo, Rui Costa, Quaresma, obviously in this recent crop of players, Vitinha, João Neves, Bruno Fernandes. He's been at World Cups with some high Pepe, to name a few, some high quality players. And you're telling me that there was no one to facilitate him scoring goals in the knockout stages. It is a crazy stat. And that Portugal side was being touted as one of the favorites. You chose them to win this World Cup when we did the preview. But this man has said,
Apologies, bro. Sorry.
no worries, bro. This man has said, I won 3 titles with. Sorry, that's the wrong quote. Hold on. I won 3 trophies for the Portuguese national team. Before Cristiano, Portugal hadn't won anything. The biggest title I won with the national team was Euro 2016. For me, it has the same dimension as the World Cup. Now, people, the state of delusion that those quotes have is crazy. Now, when we break it down, he said, I won 4 trophies for Portugal. Football is a team sport. It's a team effort. It's not the Ballon d'Or, where that's for the individual. Portugal won those trophies. And when we say these trophies, people, he's including the Nations League. Now, I don't know how you feel about that. The Nations League, to me, doesn't count. It's the Euros, it's the World Cup. Obviously, if you're from South America, then you have the Copa America and so on and so forth. The Nations League, to me, is it just doesn't count. So he's won 1 trophy, and the Euros was big, but he wasn't even in the. He played 20 minutes, then he got injured. It was actually Eder that won that scored the winning goal for Portugal to win the Euros. So he wasn't even on the pitch to contribute to win the winning of the Euros, but he was part of the team. There's no iron team, as I said, and that is a massive achievement. And that was there. He was happy. Cristiano Ronaldo fans were happy because at that point, Lionel had not won the World Cup and he had not won the Copa America. So Cristiano was ahead in the GOAT debate because obviously they'd won more Champions Leagues and league titles and whatnot, so on and so forth. It's only when it came to Lionel winning the Copa America in 2020, I think it was 2019, 2020, and then obviously then winning the World Cup 2022, that Lionel surpassed him, and this was his last chance. But for you to have that level of delusion to say that the World, the Euros are the same, is the equivalent to the World Cup, is blasphemy. The Euros is for all the countries in Europe. The World Cup is for everybody in the world. Now, I know there are cynics out there that will say, well, technically, the World Cup is really and truly just the Euros with Brazil and Argentina. There is an argument for that. However, that is not how it works. The World Cup is the pinnacle. When you have players and they say, would they rather win a World Cup or would they rather win a Champions League? They will say a World Cup because you're representing your country and that is what you want to do. You want to win with your country. You winning the Euros is fantastic. Fantastic. But in terms of international football, the World Cup is the pinnacle. You can say that the Champions League could possibly be more competitive than the World Cup. There's an argument for that. But when you ask these players, 95% of them will say they will rather win a World Cup than a Champions League. The Euro and the World Cups are not in the same bracket. The Euros is below the World Cup, just like the Copa America is below the World Cup, because the World Cup is the pinnacle of international football. So trying to say that they're in the same dimension is you trying to cope with the fact that you are never going to win a World Cup.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what anybody says. He's not going to be at the 2030 World Cup. If he's at the 2030 World Cup, Portugal have that loser mentality because you shouldn't be there, because I think that will make him about 45 or 46 years old, which doesn't make any sense to me. However, I'm not here to shit on Cristiano's career because it has been a fantastic and a great one. And when he goes, we will do that review. But in terms of international football, I think he still has one more Euros ST to go. I think he most possibly will want to be at the 2028 Euros.
Yeah.
Because obviously Lionel's got 2 Copa Americas, so he's going to at least want to match that. But yeah, this is it for him in terms of the World Cup. But finally, on Portugal, before I move on, bro, Roberto Martinez is
God.
the biggest criminal in football, bro.
Can I go?
Go for it, bro. Go for it.
This guy is the biggest criminal in football history. How he's able to get a gig with probably the most talented Belgium generation that we've had, and probably one of the most talented Portuguese generations that you have. You don't play a system which tailors to any of your players. You struggle with such good players, and you've killed their careers in terms of international football. And this is a recurring theme. He had a slightly good stint at Everton.
Yeah,
and maybe Wigan for a little bit.
Well, Wigan, he remember he always kept them up.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the one thing we have to give him credit for is the season where they got relegated, but he won the FA Cup against Man City. So
yeah, but apart from that, bro, he is the biggest criminal in football. How are you getting these gigs and you're just ruining the golden generations?
Man killed the golden generation for Belgium.
Killed it. He made Eden Hazard. He had Eden Hazard, Courtois, Lukaku. You had De Bruyne. You had Trossard. You had all these guys.
Not Trossard. All these guys
are, there, yeah. all these good guys that we consider them decent footballers.
Company, Vertonghen,
Vermaelen.
Yeah.
Ruined them. And then you have players like Vitinha. Yeah, you want to say Bruno Fernandes, João Neves, Cristiano,
Nuno Mendes, João Cancelo, Ruben Diaz. Oh my days, bro. Oh my days, bro.
And you're just
these guys got knocked out of the last. Don't get me wrong. And this is why I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to make this point. That Spain game was never going to be easy. But this is no one's fault but Portugal's finished second in that group.
Yep.
Because they shouldn't have been playing Spain. Now, don't get me wrong, bro. Colombia are a good side. But the players that Portugal had, they had enough to beat that Colombia side. Because that Colombia side isn't special. They were organised. They're a good side with one or two very good players. But when you look at the players that Portugal have, they shouldn't have
Yeah.
finished second in that group. Sorry, go on.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and this is where it goes to. They should have finished first, and then you would have been playing Ghana and potentially Switzerland,
Switzerland, yep.
and you would have beaten both of them
Yep,
if
and we
by any
would
chance.
we would have been looking forward to a quarter final between Lionel and Cristiano. That's what
Yep.
should have happened.
But listen, that guy can never manage a top team again, and not a top team. He's ruined such good footballers as well.
I can't believe that I haven't heard that he's been sacked. I
No, he's
really
gone.
can't. Has he been sacked?
I think he's gone. Yeah, he
I
stepped down.
didn't. Nothing. Hold on. I didn't receive. Hold on. I haven't seen anything. You might be right. Hold on. What's it? Okay. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he stepped down.
Yeah,
He had to.
criminal, absolute
I
criminal,
can't stand him. He's the worst guy. I know Tooth doesn't like him as well. Nobody does.
bro.
That's one thing in our group we all agree with. He is a
Bro,
terrible
he's a
manager.
criminal. He is a war criminal. And
Yeah,
Roberto Martinez should not get a top level
never,
job. I'm not saying the
never.
man can't eat and feed his family. That's absolutely fine. But this guy is not a top. This guy killed, destroyed the Belgium golden generation. And then he took Portugal to a World Cup and got them kicked out, all because he couldn't finish top of the group. Bro, this is
No,
a team that drew, obviously, they drew with DR Congo and then drew with Colombia. And then, bro, had Cristiano saying he was back when he scored against
against
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
Like, come on, bro. This man is a criminal, bro. He should not be managing at the top level. He should be managing Swindon Town, something like that. That is his level. He shouldn't be
Yeah,
at the top level of international football. No
yeah,
chance. But there's something about some of these managers, ST, that they seem to just find a way to get these jobs. And you're just like, how? It doesn't make any sense. But
no, it's true.
that's Cristiano gone. And to another legend, Neymar, who's also now done. Now, ST, we both said it on the preview that he shouldn't have been at the World Cup.
No,
He shouldn't have been at the World Cup. He was injured, he's not fit, and he served no benefit. But it was the peer pressure from Brazilians to have Neymar there. And it just made no sense to me. It was a nostalgia thing because he had no business being at the World Cup at all. And a João Pedro could have possibly helped you in
yeah,
this game against Norway. But
he would have definitely helped.
yeah, but Brazil are out. Brazil are out, losing 2-1 to Norway. Again, Norway. And Haaland was a lot better. And Haaland, Gabriel, obviously, feud rumbles on, but two fantastic goals
Especially the second one.
from earlier. The second one, pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah,
And I think that's ST. There's some crazy stat that this guy scored in like 13 consecutive international games for Norway, or some crazy stat like that. Bro, he is a goal machine, and
yep.
credit to Norway because I know UST you got him in the
My
draw. You
Super
picked them
Six,
in the
yeah,
draw,
yeah,
and credit to them for getting this far because they're somewhat organized. I'll say somewhat because Brazil had chances.
yeah.
Somewhat, but when Haaland ice
Killer.
cold killer. And bro, when you have a centre forward like Haaland up front, you always have a chance. But
And I'm
it's
gonna
more
give him credit as well. Like, I will, you know me, yeah. I used to have criticisms of his all-round game. His
mm,
all-round game has improved a lot,
mm,
and it was on show against Brazil. I'll be honest, his hold-up play was good. He was linking up the play pretty decent, and he was shooting. And to be fair to him, one thing I do respect about Haaland, he knows his limitations. However, he always plays to his strengths.
exactly. And that's what you asked. And ST, I think, look, I was having this conversation with colleagues, and don't get me wrong, the game has moved on, the game has changed. Centre forwards need to do more. But Haaland is obviously that old school type. And
Yeah,
as long as he's scoring goals, who cares? The likes of the Andrei Shevchenkos and the Hernan Crespos and all these man, These men didn't do this stuff. They just made sure they put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And that's what Haaland's doing. I know the game has evolved. I know that then he needs to do a little bit more, especially when it comes to his hold-up play. But if he's doing the business, which is the hardest thing in football, to score the goals, we cannot complain. And massive credit to him. But this is more so about Brazil and the demise of Brazil. And people, look, Brazil haven't won the World Cup since 2002, right? They are no longer the powerhouse that they once were. It's just basically based off the name. And you and I both said we didn't expect them to pull up trees in this World Cup. I think you had them getting to the semi. I know you had them getting to the quarters and then going out. I think I said maybe the semis. But they've gone out in the round of 16 to Norway, and obviously Don Carlo not getting the job done. This Brazilian team just looking open in the midfield. Defensively, they look really bad.
Yeah.
These players these players just not looking Brazilian, bro.
No.
Like as you said, they're from Belize and these places, bro. Like
Ghana and all these, bro.
It's crazy.
Yes.
And it's a shame because what the World Cup needs Brazil in the latter stages of the tournament, but unfortunately, this Brazil team is not good, bro.
No.
Not good at all. And now they're finding themselves at home. And as simple as that. And as we then move on to England Mexico, which was a fantastic game. It was a fantastic game. Obviously, I say that through gritted teeth. But listen, I recognize a really good game when I see one. And Jude coming up clutch. And you and I both said it doesn't matter when the debate was who do you start? Is it Jude? Is it Rodgers? Is it Eze? You and I both said Jude Bellingham has to be in this team because you and I have both said on this channel multiple times we don't rate Jude as highly as the people that like him do, but we also don't think that Jude is as bad as what people think he is. It's balanced. We understand that he is a talent. He has the potential to do whatever he wants, which is what we said on the preview. And the one thing I liked about this game in particular from Jude is that, bro, he's not listening to the outside noise. And he's making them late sort of Frank Lampard-esque runs into the box and scoring goals and helping Sugarcane. So you have to respect it. And you look, everyone was talking about the altitude and blah, 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 and this and the other, Mexico being the host, another host out, by the way. But England managed to get the job done. This could have been a banana skin. This could have went left because it was kind of stacked against them, and even more so with the red card, which was a red card.
It was,
But the players to a man showed up. Pickford was fantastic. The whole team was very good. But Pickford was fantastic. Anthony Gordon showing glimpses of why Barcelona bought him. Because that was a question mark. People would have expected the likes of Rashford or Rodgers to start in this game, but he gave the key to Anthony Gordon, and Anthony Gordon didn't disappoint. So England did well, and obviously we'll get to who they're playing next. But ST, just from an England standpoint, because I'm starting to get concerned.
Me too. I'm worried.
I'm starting to get concerned, and obviously after what happened in that game yesterday, which we'll get onto, I fully thought that this was looking like they could go to the final. But listen, there's still cracks. There's still chinks in the armor. Defensively, they're easily got at.
Creativity is not there.
Creativity isn't great. No. They've shown that in a low block you can get the better of them, but they also show that if you attack them, you can get the better of them. So it's not all guns and roses. However, what they are doing is they are showing grit and determination with a little bit of quality. And when you've got the likes of Jude Bellingham and when you've got the marksman that is Sugarcane, we talk about Haaland being a marksman. Sugarcane is another one of, obviously Sugarcane offers a little bit more. But when you need someone to put the ball in the back of the net, Sugarcane is there. So if you're an England fan right now, you are saying, quietly, listen, next game against Norway, we can keep Haaland quiet. We haven't really got anything to worry
Yeah,
about. Argentina have shown there's chinks in the armor. They've got a
yeah,
difficult game against Switzerland. I'm not really fearful of either of those teams. I think Switzerland causes a different type of problem for them. And then it's who you get in the other side. It's who,
yeah.
and obviously we'll go into detail a little bit later. But yeah, if you're an England fan right now, you're happy, and obviously Sugar came with 6 goals, trying to keep up with all the rest of the man them for winning the Golden Boot for the World Cup. So it's all good in the hood for England. But then you get to France and the Royal Rumble that Paraguay was playing with France.
Yeah,
France winning 1-0, a penalty from Mbappe. But that
yeah,
wasn't the talking point in this game. It was the fact that this Paraguay side finished that game, not one player with a yellow card, not one player with a red card. The only person that got the yellow card from Paraguay was one of the assistant coaches. After what we saw Paraguay trying to basically do up Royal Rumble. And ST, I want to get your perspective on the game
yeah. I'll
between
do it.
Paraguay and France.
It was a nasty game. It was like World War II there, if I'm being very honest. And it was all set from Paraguay. Paraguay didn't really come to play football. Their main intention was just to kick all the talented players. Like Olise was getting kicked, Mbappe was getting kicked. They were literally not getting. They're not trying to attempt to even get the ball. It was stop and start. Obviously on the game, the referee lost control, big control. Like fouls
Awful.
that awful. I'm surprised that no Paraguay should have got a yellow card early on, and then this would have stopped, but they could
Mm-hmm.
continue, so they knew what to do. Again, late fouls for no reason. People getting punched in their face, elbowed in their face, nothing given. It was honestly France did extremely well not to react and still try to play their football because they were the only team playing football. And obviously, Due came on, great skill, and
Toes.
again the referee didn't even give that as a foul. He had to go to VAR, which I was
Mm-hmm.
completely shocked. It was probably one of the most clearest penalties I've seen. It's
Mm-hmm.
like he was trying not to give that. And
Mm-hmm.
Mbappe slots the penalty. At least they didn't have a great game, but again, he was getting fouled. It was ridiculous. Like he was getting fouled so many times, and even him, we called him Mister Nonchalant King. He was getting frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Late tackles on the keeper, Manyon. Late tackles on Upamecano, and yeah, it seemed like a certain demographic of people were just getting kicked, and another demographic of people weren't.
Look,
Like Rabiot and Dinya, obviously respect to them. They had
nothing.
they played very well, by the way, both of them,
Yeah.
and they don't. This is no criticism to them. They've done nothing wrong. They weren't getting any sort of treatment, but all the other ones, Kone was getting the kicking treatment. Upamecano, Saliba to an extent was getting kicked.
Every,
Mbappe,
every,
Olise,
every,
Barcola, yeah,
everybody,
yeah,
everybody. It was poor from Paraguay because these tactics weren't used against Germany.
no,
Wonder why? Um, Poor refereeing, and I've got issue with the standard of refereeing in this World Cup. It's
me
been
too.
shockingly bad,
Rubbish.
shockingly bad decisions. Look, ST, I'm all for letting things go. You know me. I like the game to flow, let things go. I'm not here for the tippy tappy fouls, but they've gone too far with letting shit go, and bruv, it was mostly transparent in this game. As you said, the referee didn't even want to give the penalty. Felt
No.
like the referee had a bet on the game, or I'm not going to say the other thing, but it looked like the referee had an
Mm.
agenda in the
Yes.
game. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to question the integrity of a referee because obviously me being one myself, but there was just a lot of things that was wrong, and he lost complete match control. And match control could have happened with yellow cards. For example, when they surrounded him, when he gave the penalty, and they were kicking up the turf, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, yellow, yellow, yellow. Everybody stopped.
Yes.
Everybody stopped. That's all it took. But he didn't choose to do that,
No.
and it was an ugly game. It was an ugly game. It was unnecessary. Obviously, Mbappe slotting away the penalty, and then obviously Mbappe doing Mbappe things. They're trying to
Yeah.
kick him, trying to bully him. He's just laughing it off, and people had a problem with it. Why is he laughing? Why is he doing that? This isn't fair. Why is he laughing?
Yeah.
ST, you and I both know. And yeah, and here, I know what's coming. You are always bringing out the race card and blah 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 blah. This is what it is, right? When you are superior physically, athletically,
Yeah.
mentally, you are better, right? There is certain tactics
Yeah.
that people of a certain color will use against you when you are black. They will wind you up. They will kick and punch and do all sorts to get a reaction. Why? Because they want one of two things: to put you off your game so that they can gain the advantage, or to get you in trouble
Yeah.
because they
Exactly.
want a reaction. And Mbappe
Exactly.
had the perfect reaction by laughing because he knew what this was. He
Yeah.
knew what they was trying to do. He
Exactly.
knew because he's been dealing with it his entire life,
Yeah.
just like the rest of us have been dealing with it for our entire lives.
Yeah.
And laughing pisses them off even more because they cannot get the reaction
That they
that
want to.
they want. So I commend Mbappe because ST, if that was me, I'm either doing what Mbappe was
I'm
doing,
getting. I'm getting
or
a red card.
or I'm doing what Zlatan said, getting 4 or 5 red cards in that one
Yeah.
thing. That's why I commend Mbappe for doing what he did because he understood what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
When we can't beat you, especially now you've gone 1-0 up. So you know what we're gonna try and do? We're gonna get you banned for free. We're gonna try and get you banned for 3 games because
Yeah.
we don't want to see you win. And Mbappe did the best thing he could, which was laugh at him, send them packing. Right? Now, ST, we are not covering what has gone on since.
Good.
I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
giving that woman the airtime
Good.
on this
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah.
What I will say, and this is the only thing I'm saying about it, and then we're moving on.
Yeah.
Mbappe's response was perfect to
Yeah.
this woman. People, if you are unaware of what we are talking about, I'm not mentioning this woman's name and I am not getting into the nitty gritty of all of this. If you
Yeah.
need to see it, just type in Mbappe versus Paraguayan senator and you can read what has transpired if you don't already know. But his response is perfect. And you see, ST, this is another thing. Again, poking, prodding, wanting that aggressive reaction because he's a
Yeah.
black man,
Mm-hmm.
wanting that aggressive reaction, and she didn't get it. So what is she? What's she done now? Played the victim card.
Yeah.
I can get you done because you're advocating violence against women and blah 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 and this that and the other. YST because she wanted that angry black man reaction and she
Yeah.
didn't get it because Mbappe's too smart for it. So Mbappe, don't retract your statement. Keep pressing forward. Keep doing what you're doing because the way you are handling these
It's
situations
perfect.
is pissing them off because they are used to getting the angry black man response and they're
Yeah.
not getting it from you. So you keep pushing and you keep reacting the way that you are. So to show them that they can't win, they can't rattle you, and they are the ones that are rattled. And I hope that justice is served. Now, ST, you and I both know there ain't nothing that's going to happen to this woman.
No.
We understand that. But I'm saying there's hope justice is served in terms of Mbappe going further in the tournament. Not just him, but the French team, and proving these assholes wrong. And that is all I'm saying on it, because she is not getting the airtime on this channel. Right.
All I'm going to say is
Go
you don't
for
even
it.
need to speak about her. Mbappe, we're rooting for you. Well done on the way you acted. Well done for keeping your cool. Well done for all the French team for keeping her cool. And that's it really. Even I was gonna say even the Paraguayan players were saying that, oh, I didn't like the way Mbappe reacted to me. I don't care.
Bro, I don't care, because
I don't care.
the whole reason why you don't like the way Harry reacted to you is because you wanted the angry black man
Yeah.
reaction. That's what
But
you
anyway,
wanted. When it didn't work,
yeah.
this is what happens. But yes,
But
anyway.
anyway, I was gonna say we don't really need to. The Paraguay team are a disgrace. Anyway, we don't really
Yeah,
need to speak about them.
100%.
And that person
Even
never.
with their despicable behavior, ST, Mbappe still showed them grace. Mbappe still showed them grace. And people,
Yeah.
I don't want you to think that we are putting every Paraguayan person in a
No.
box and saying this is how they think and this is how they are. However, what I will say is this: it's when you look at these sorts of nations,
Yeah.
certain times it's not a minority, it's more than that. So, and that's all I'm going to say on it. And as we segue into another nation who, as I said, certain times it's not. Oh yeah, because, bruv, Argentina, Egypt, what a game! And this is why I say we've had some good games. Argentina, Egypt was another one. England, Mexico was one. And Lionel still lives. Lionel is still here.
Yeah.
The
Well, do you want me to- I'm gonna
controversy.
go. Yeah, Messi. I'm gonna go with this one, bro, because I've got a lot to say, and this is also to compare Messi and Ronaldo a little bit. But
Go
I'm
for
gonna
it.
go to. So, as you're probably aware, in this game, so Argentina won 3-2 against
Mm-hmm.
Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Egypt were 2-0 ahead. One from a header from Yasser Ibrahim. Very good play by their winger, who I forgot his name. He's gonna get a move. Zico, I think he scored.
Zico.
Zico,
Yeah.
he's very good, by the way. And then then Messi misses a penalty.
Oh my days.
I couldn't believe
Someone
it.
take the ball away from him when penalties
Yeah,
happen.
that's his weakness, penalties. And then Egypt have a very good goal disallowed. However, and there's been some arguments about whether it's a foul or not. I know the play was far away, but um, it was still a foul technically. So I
Foul.
understand why
Foul. Yeah.
it was a foul. Then they score a very good goal breakaway. Salah does very well, passes the ball to Yasser Ibrahim, I think it was, and then Zico does a good run and then scores a really good goal. And then Lionel just comes clutch with the cross to Romero. And then Messi just goes to the right hand side and starts cooking. Yeah, like you said, cross to Romero on the right hand side, and then Messi scores a fantastic goal, like half volley on his left foot,
Yeah.
perfect technique. And then obviously Martinez, yes, gets the ball passed to him. Excellent inch ball, poor defending by Egypt, and then the ball goes to Enzo Fernandez. Does what a striker should do, head it back from where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect header and good job. What I will say about Messi as well, because I think we all know he's one of the greats, yeah. And
He's
it's
the
the
goal.
difference between him and Ronaldo. They have to facilitate Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
Ronaldo is more playing for himself in the sense that he's trying to get goals. The
Mm-hmm.
Argentinian players, they respect Messi so much. Messi is still not at the level, but he hasn't diminished as much as in comparison to Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
Messi can still create. He's still
Mm-hmm.
the vocal point, and he's looking to make magic happen. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why Lionel is still at a certain level and Ronaldo is not at that certain level. And
Mm-hmm.
this game is the one that proved it. Also, Egypt as well. We also need to criticize them as well as they played. You're 2-0 up in 80 something minutes.
There you go.
And people are saying it's corruption. It's not corruption. Like,
Nope.
even though I do agree some of the decisions that the that referee did game, they weren't great as well. They have
Mhm.
every right to be annoyed at it, but like it's like the Senegal game, you're 2-0 ahead.
Yeah. Sharp, sharp.
Manage the game.
Hmm.
If this was Morocco, no, manage
Yep.
the game.
Yep. Yep.
It's the same thing with the African nations. Manage the game,
Yep.
and then they were all crying about, oh, it's robbery and all this stuff like that. You
It
lot
was,
didn't manage the game. If it's 2-0 and we lose 3-0, I'm not blaming the referee. I'm blaming myself because you had that
well,
match under control.
and this is how they got away with it, ST, because look, the goal that got disallowed for them, it was a foul. Everyone's talking about
Yes,
how far do you go back and it's like,
fouls are
oh,
foul.
we're losing great goals. It was a foul. It was a foul. And we've seen in this World Cup the refereeing standard isn't up to scratch. So
Yeah,
VAR had to intervene and do it for them. It was a foul, plain
yeah,
and simple. Where I do feel a little bit, so I don't feel, I've got no issue there. Where I do feel a slightest bit of sympathy for them is what led to Argentina's third goal, because it was a foul
yes,
on the edge of the box. It wasn't a
it
penalty, it was a
was.
foul on the edge of the box. It
Yeah,
should have been given. Referees missed that one. Now, what I will say is that they have a right to be upset about that one. And I don't disagree. But your point is the most valid one. Just like Senegal, you were 2-0 up and you ended up losing 3-2. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong,
exactly.
there is quality in these sides. More quality in Argentina than there is Belgium. So Senegal's one's still worse.
Yeah,
But manage the game, you're into the World Cup quarterfinals. So you want to talk about the referee for that final goal? We can, but you need to look at yourselves and understand that you didn't do enough to
at
win the
all.
game. And you're talking about Lionel and Cristiano. As I said in the group, one stands still while the other one goes and does his thing. That's the difference. One stands still, the other one goes and does his thing. And this is why Lionel is where he is and why Cristiano is where he is. And all the Cristiano fans will say corruption and blah, 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 and they just want it for Messi and da, 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 da. That's not the case. It's just the fact that there's levels to this. And Lionel's showing why he is the GOAT and
And
Cristiano,
as much as I
unfortunately.
joke about Ronaldo crying as well, yeah, you know me, like out of us two, I like Cristiano Ronaldo a lot better than you do. I
Mm.
was always giving him his respect, but as I know as football, he's better. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Lionel is better than him.
Lionel's
But
better
clear, it's
than
not
him.
even close, if I'm being honest.
Bro, listen, two absolute legends, but Lionel's just a better one.
Yeah.
But moving on, ST, because talking about politics and football, the final, obviously, 16 game that we're going to speak about, USA versus Belgium. Now, we're not talking about this because it was a fantastic game. It was just the fact that Belgium put them in their box. But why was that? Because Balogun, right, who was sent off in the Bosnia game, do you know what baffles me, ST? Is how people don't think it's a red card. Like, this guy came down from his calf onto his ankle. He puts any more pressure on his ankle, he breaks it. Like,
Yeah, it was a bad tackle. It was a
how
bad
people
challenge.
don't think this is a red card is beyond me. Now, yes, you can compare the one that Messi did. I said the Messi one was a red card as
Yeah.
well. The Messi one was a red card as well. But Balogun gets sent off. Donald Trump decides to make a phone call to Infantino. Says review it. Infantino then decides to suspend the red card for Balogun. Something that's unprecedented,
Yeah.
right? Now, one thing I will say, ST, because a lot of people are trying to blame Balogun and Trump. Now, Trump is massive to blame. Balogun has no part in this. But can we not forget
It's
that
FIFA.
this rule was implemented before this happened?
Yep.
Because Cristiano Ronaldo should have been banned for the first two games of the World Cup, and they suspended it, right?
Yep.
So this wasn't a first thing for Balogun. Cristiano Ronaldo was the first. Why?
Yeah.
Because obviously, as we know, ST, this World Cup is nothing. It's all about corruption, money, and exposure. And if you don't
Exactly.
have Cristiano Ronaldo playing for Portugal, how many eyes do you lose Do you know what I mean? How
Yeah,
many
exactly.
sponsorship deals do you lose if he's not there? So Trump
Exactly.
makes a phone call, gets suspended. Belgium, who have been piss poor in this World Cup, say we're going to roll back the years and absolutely clarted USA, which sent the third host nation home. And it's a lesson because would that game have been closer if Trump didn't do what he did?
Maybe.
Maybe. But we knew the quality of Belgium. But I think as much as it raised Belgium a level, the USA looked like it took them down a level because there was no energy in their play.
Yeah.
There was no fight. There was no, like the previous games that we saw from them, it wasn't there. And just goes to show the corruption within FIFA, the corruption within Infantino, the fact that he is just bending over backwards for Donald Trump. And this is the outcome. USA are out. And as Belgium said, overturn this.
Yeah, they were doing the Trump
And
dance as
doing the
well.
Trump dance and all
Listen,
sorts.
and listen.
Bro,
Obviously, we know we
you
criticized
know
him.
I'm not a Lukaku fan, but
Yeah, I was happy
I
for him.
love the
Yeah.
celebration.
I was happy for Lukaku, and this is another thing. Yeah, Lukaku is like we know Lukaku's got his limitations, but he's humbly said, "Listen, I'm not up to the standard. I'll ride bench. I will come on, do my
Mm,
thing, and do it." And he's done
mm,
well. He scored goals.
mm-hmm.
I'll give him credit. And this is what I'm saying. I'm happy. And I'm actually, even though I don't rate this Belgian team, in a way for this match, I'm happy for them because all the talk was about, Belgium will get battered and all these things like
Mm,
this. I'm happy and I'm glad that they did the dance. Do the dance to them because these guys think that God is watching you. You know, that's what I'm saying. God is watching
exactly.
your criminal
God,
activities.
God never sleeps, and He was
Yeah,
never going to allow that to
yeah,
happen. And I think ST, the biggest thing was it put the American fans back in their box because I'm like, who told you that you had the quality to beat Belgium? Even this poor Belgium side still has more quality than USA. And then I see in the comments because I was before the game, everyone was like, yeah, we're preparing for Spain. Like, we're going to beat Belgium. Belgium aren't good. We're too good for them. You know what I saw after the game, ST? Well, soccer, it isn't the biggest sport. No
Oh,
one
here you
cares
go.
about soccer. Like, who cares? Blah, blah. And it's like, look, at the end of the day, you can't be good at everything.
No,
And we understand as Europeans that, listen, it's not your first sport. That's absolutely fine. But the way how you were talking crud beforehand, like, don't diminish it now. And that goes
yeah,
to most American fans, not all, because some of them actually have the sense to understand that they were nowhere near the level of what Belgium are. When you see what they're like against the top 20 nations in the world, they don't win. So it is what it is. That's three of the hosts kicked out. So, ST, we now move on to obviously we've got quarterfinals. We've got France, Morocco, Spain, Belgium, Norway, England, and Argentina and Switzerland. So, the question I have to you, ST, is out of those 8 teams, who do you
who's gonna
think is
win?
getting to the final? So, in one bracket, you've got France and Morocco, Spain and Belgium. So that's one side. And the other side, you've got Norway and England, Argentina and Switzerland. Who do you believe is getting to the World Cup final out of
I
those
don't.
8 teams?
I don't even want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. France just versus England, bro. I don't know why I think that. I don't know
Bro,
why I think that.
I can't disagree. Well, I can disagree with you because I'm not going
Yeah,
to say it, but I understand the level of thinking. Like I said, I don't think this Norway team has enough. I think England will beat them, especially defensively. Don't think they have enough. Yes, they've got Haaland, but the one to nullify Haaland. To be fair, he's going up against Concert and Gay.
yeah.
Like, let's be honest. Um, but yeah, and then Argentina, Switzerland, who knows? Like you would think the way how Argentina have had to work so hard against Cape Verde and Egypt to get
Egypt.
through, you wouldn't be surprised if Switzerland could cause an upset.
Yeah.
But Oh, I'm gonna go Argentina in that bracket because I can't say England.
Fair enough.
But
That was the second
the
choice. I was
other,
thinking about is
the
England
other,
or
the,
Argentina.
the other bracket,
You see
I'm
Morocco.
gonna go France because that's who I've got obviously in the sweepstake. But do not be surprised if Spain. Do not be
Yeah,
surprised if Spain get through because the one thing I have to say, the thing is, I would say Spain are toothless, but when they need to score, they score. And the way that
yeah,
they keep and recycle the ball is absolutely frustrating. But if there's a team that could beat that, it's the pace
of France.
of and the talent that the French have.
Don't even count Morocco out. I'll be honest.
And yeah, Morocco versus France is not Morocco France is not a given. It's not a given. I
Yeah,
think out of those four games, I think that game is going to be the most exciting because Morocco. But as I said, for me, Morocco one half team. We've seen again anytime we've seen them in the first half absolutely blitz teams. I know apart from obviously when they played Canada, but it was Canada. But if Morocco can get a good start, it makes it a game. But I feel Morocco are a team as well. So, and we haven't seen France's defense really
yeah,
tested like that. So, and I think that's what Morocco do. Morocco will give them a test, but I think that France will just have a little bit too much for Morocco. But I wouldn't be surprised if that game goes to extra time. I expect Spain
yeah.
to beat Belgium. I expect England to beat Norway, Argentina, and then I'm hoping for a Messi masterclass against England, and then France, Argentina, a repeat of 2022, and then obviously when we do the preview for the World Cup final, we'll give our predictions for that. Um, Finally, ST, who's getting the golden boot? Messi's on 8, Haaland's on 7, Mbappe's on 7, Sugarcane's on 6.
I'm gonna go Mbappe. I'll go Mbappe. I think that he's still frustrated from last year's World Cup. Last not last year, last World Cup. And I
Yeah.
think that he will do it. Even though I think all the big guys are there. It's
Yeah,
good. All
that's
the
the
big
one
hitters
thing.
are there.
The big guns are all there. The big guns are still in it.
But I think
Those
Mbappe.
four. Fair enough. I agree with you. I'm going to go Mbappe as well. But listen, people, it's been a long one, but that is it from us. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the World Cup. Are you enjoying the fact that it's 48? Do you want it to be cut down to 32? Have you enjoyed some of the games so far? Any of the new nations, have they won your hearts? Do you believe that it should stay this way? Or, as I said, do you revert back to the 32? Let us know what you think about the tournament. What's been your favorite game? Is it Belgium, Senegal? Is it England, Mexico? Is it Argentina, Egypt? Is it the USA getting spanked by Belgium? Was it Senegal, Belgium in the round beforehand? Let us know what you think about the politics within football. So let us know what you think about Infantino and what he did for the USA. Let us know what you think about the Paraguay and France game and the Mbappe and that other person situation. Let us know. Oh, bloody hell, man. Woo. Let us know what you think about who you think is going to win the Golden Boot. Is it going to be Messi? Is it going to be Sugarcane? Is it going to be Mbappe? Is it going to be Haaland? Do you believe that Egypt were robbed? It should have been Egypt through and not Argentina? How do you see the quarterfinals going? Have you got France? Have you got Morocco? Have you got Spain? Have you got Belgium? Have you got Norway? Have you got England? Have you got Switzerland? Or have you got Argentina? Who do you think is going to be in the World Cup
Also,
final?
as well, yeah, sorry to cut you off. The last thing. Also, please let us know what can African football do to improve on this World Cup. What they need to do to get past the so-called big national European teams. Any advice is always welcome because I think it's a discussion that needs to be had, and I think that from this World Cup, it's shown that we still are pushing, but we need a lot of improvement.
100%. We want to hear from you. And as usual, before we go, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up. As I say the time, share, share, share. We are here. And don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. I want to say thank you very much to my guy, ST, as usual. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Sorry about this, all fighting the elements, but it's been a great show, to be honest.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. People coming up. We'll obviously review what transpires in the quarterfinals and semi-finals. We're about to preview the World Cup final. Also coming up soon, Commonwealth Games will be starting. Athletics talk will be back. Once the World Cup is done, athletics talk. We'll have the athletics talk. We'll have a solid month of athletics talk before the Premier League season starts.
Yeah.
I will see if I can get 2 on for a fight talk because Conor McGregor is back this weekend. So I will see if 2 and I can get a review for that. And not really going on in boxing right now. Is there any big fight coming up? Obviously, I know announcement been made, but there's nothing. I know Boots obviously fought the other day, but I'm talking about anything
Not really.
in
Usyk's just giving up the belts.
yeah, not a lot. And obviously, people, if he does do it, there could potentially be a tennis talk coming up as well. But listen, people, stay safe out there. Be safe. Enjoy the West of the World Cup. And we shall see you very, very soon. Peace.